In 2019, scientists published the first reconstruction of a Denisovan face, a nose, a jaw, a brow ridge, a skull shape, features assigned to a species that at the time existed in the physical record as exactly 3 teeth, 1 pinky bone, and 1 lower jaw fragment. No skull, no face bones, no skeleton. Just a finger, and from that finger, using a method that had never been applied to an extinct human species before, a team of researchers built a face. This is the story of how we know what Denisovans looked like and why the answer is stranger than the face itself. The Denisovans were identified in 2010 from a single finger bone found in a Siberian cave. Ancient DNA extracted from that bone revealed a branch of the human family tree that nobody knew existed, genetically distinct from Neanderthals, genetically distinct from modern humans, a third human lineage living alongside both, leaving traces of itself in the genomes of people alive today. But for nearly a decade after their discovery, nobody could tell you what they looked like. The fossil record was almost entirely absent. What physical remains existed, a few teeth and a jaw fragment, later confirmed as Denisovan couldn't reconstruct a face on their own. Paleoanthropologists were working with genetics and almost no morphology. Then a team led by Liran Carmel at Hebrew University asked a different question. Not what did the bones show us, but what does the DNA know about the body it came from? The method they developed reads something called methylation patterns. DNA methylation is a chemical process that effectively switches genes off. It doesn't change the DNA sequence itself, but it determines which genes are active and which are silenced in a given tissue. Different species, different populations, different individuals all have characteristic methylation signatures. Carmel's team extracted methylation data from the Denisovan genome and built a map of which genes were switched off. Then they consulted a database called the Human Phenotype Ontology, a catalogue of what happens anatomically when specific genes are missing or defective in modern humans. If a Denisovan gene that was methylated switched off also happens when mutated in modern humans to produce shorter fingers, the researchers predicted that Denisovans had longer fingers. The logic runs in reverse. Read the off switches consult the database of consequences, build the anatomy from what the lights going dark would have produced. Before applying this method to Denisovans, they tested it on 2 species whose anatomy is already well documented from fossil evidence: Neanderthals, chimpanzees. In both cases, the methylation-based reconstruction achieved over 85% accuracy in identifying anatomical traits that diverged from modern humans. Roughly 1 in 7 predictions may be wrong. The researchers were explicit about this limitation. They could say Denisovans had longer fingers, but not 2 millimeters longer. Direction of change, not precise measurement. Only after confirming the method worked on species they could verify did they apply it to the species they couldn't. The result identified 56 anatomical features in which Denisovans differed from modern humans, Neanderthals, or both. 34 of those features were in the skull alone. The face that emerged was wider than a modern human's, wider in fact than any known human species. The skull was elongated, the jaw protruded more than a modern human's but less than a Neanderthal's. The dental arch, the curved row of teeth along the jaw, was longer than both modern humans and Neanderthals. A trait apparently unique to Denisovans among all known members of our genus. Lead researcher David Gockman admitted to being surprised by his own result. He had expected Denisovan traits to closely resemble Neanderthal traits, given how closely related the 2 species are genetically. But in the few traits where they differ, he said, the differences are extreme. The widest face of any known human species, a dental arch unlike anything documented in the fossil record, a reconstruction that didn't map onto any visual template that already existed. Then, while the paper was still being reviewed by Cell's editors and before it had been published, something happened that had no business happening on that timeline. A separate team analyzing ancient proteins from a jawbone found in Tibet, the Baishia jawbone recovered at over 10,000 feet of altitude, concluded it belonged to a Denisovan. The paper was published while Carmel's reconstruction paper was still in peer review. Suddenly, there was a real Denisovan jaw to compare the predictions against. Carmel's team checked their model against the actual bone. The jaw was wider than that of either modern humans or Neanderthals. It protruded more than a modern human jaw but less than a Neanderthal's. It almost perfectly matched our predictions, Carmel said, which was very nice for us. An independent physical discovery accidentally confirmed a computational reconstruction while both were in progress simultaneously. The DNA also revealed something that almost every popular visual reconstruction has gotten wrong. The 2012 full genome analysis of the Denisovan fingerbone showed that the individual, likely a young female, had dark skin, dark hair, and dark eyes. The pigmentation genes in the Denisovan genome align with dark coloring variants. The most widely circulated reconstructions of Denisovans show pale or ambiguous complexions, visually influenced by the assumption that a Siberian species would have been light-skinned. The genetic reality was the opposite. The Siberian Denisovan girl had dark coloring, likely reflecting ancestral pigmentation patterns from before her population's dispersal northward. Then came 2025 and the Dragon Man confirmation. The Harbin skull, the enormous fossil that had spent 85 years at the bottom of a well in China, was confirmed as Denisovan through ancient protein analysis of its dental plaque, and it added details that no DNA-based method could have predicted. His nose was wide and bulbous, built to move huge volumes of cold, dry air, the same physiological pressure that shaped the distinctive nasal anatomy of Neanderthals living through European glacial cycles. His skull was the largest ever recovered from any member of the Homo genus. He was estimated to have been approximately 50 years old at death old by any prehistoric standard, suggesting either exceptional physical resilience or significant social support from his community. The 2019 reconstruction had predicted a wide face and broad nasal opening from methylation data alone. The Dragon Man's skull confirmed both and gave them a function. That wide nose was for breathing in cold. But here is the deepest thing the combined research reveals, and it almost never gets stated plainly. Dragon Man gave Denisovans a face, but it gave them only one face. The Denisovans occupied an extraordinary geographic range from the Siberian cave, where the finger bone was found, to the Tibetan plateau at 10,000 feet, where the Baixia jaw was recovered, to northeastern China, where Dragon Man lived, to the seafloor off Taiwan, where a jaw was pulled up by a fishing net in 2010. That range is larger than the entire Neanderthal range across Europe and Western Asia. And growing genetic evidence suggests the populations at either end of that range were as different from each other as modern human populations separated by continents. The Siberian Denisovan and the Tibetan Denisovan and the northeastern Chinese Denisovan may have looked substantially different from one another, as different as any geographically isolated human populations separated by hundreds of thousands of years of local adaptation. Different climates, different altitudes, different diets, different selective pressures, one species label, but almost certainly multiple faces, multiple body types, multiple sets of adaptations that no single reconstruction can represent. The reconstruction built from a finger bone in 2019, the jaw confirmed from proteins in Tibet, the skull pulled from a well in China, the jaw dredged off a seafloor that used to be dry land. Each one is a different window into a species that occupied more of the world than we realized, for longer than we realized, in more forms than we realized. We finally know what Denisovans looks like. Wide face, dark skin, dark eyes, brown hair, an enormous jaw with a dental arch unlike anything else in the human family, a nose built for cold, a skull larger than our own. That's one of them. There were others, and each one looked a little different, shaped by a world that no longer exists, preserved now in fragments, a finger, a jaw, a grain of dental plaque, a skull at the bottom of a well, waiting for someone to ask the right question of the right molecule. The face was always there, we just had to learn how to read it.